And welcome back to the WCHE Morning Show. I'm Eric Clambera. Co-host today is Barry D. Next up is our segment on farming and agriculture. Each week at this time, we will hear from farmers, conservationists, homesteaders, and others to discuss the topics that are important to them and the residents of Chester County. Joining us today for the segment, we have Jake Moore, local farmer and entrepreneur with deep roots in Chester County. Jake is the co-founder of More Meats, a direct-to-consumer farm business specializing in premium American Wagyu beef. Jake, welcome back to the show. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Good to hear from you again.
Likewise. I got a little PTSD from talking about broken down washers and dryers.
Oh, God.
No.
Dude, it's the worst, isn't it?
It is. And they sound like I never thought I'd get to this point, but, back in my day,
yeah, right.
Make them like they used to, right?
Right. I just don't see the need for a computer. I just don't.
We've overcomplicated them.
Yep. Honest to God, it's the worst. It's the worst. And by the way, who doesn't like to say the word Wagyu? Just want to say that.
Yeah.
Right? Or let's try this one too, Iberico, because that's the next piece with More Meats, and what we're growing into is the Iberico pasture-raised pork that we're expanding into now that we've kind of gotten Wagyu down to a science.
Right. And as long as it's got the word beer in it, it's got to be good.
There you go.
Yeah. So
right. What's not to love?
So, Jake, did you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. Go.
Sure. Yeah. So as we've grown with More Meats, we started on the back of American Wagyu, all raised right here in Chester County on our farms, and wanted to kind of get that done well first, kind of stick to your strategy type of marketing plan. And once we kind of got that diet down and the length of time for raising, we had a lot of people asking over the years, well, what else are you going to bring to the table? What other proteins are you going to do? And pork was kind of that next natural fit. So my motto is I kind of want to make pork not suck. I think pork in America is, unfortunately, with the commoditization of it, and the marketing that's been done with pork of, chasing, quote unquote, the other white meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make a replacement for chicken. We've really turned pork into a very dense, dry product, in my opinion.
Yeah, you have to be real careful with the way you cook it. My wife loves pork, and you do have to be careful with the way you cook it, especially the really thick chops. Although I will tell you, in Iowa, it's a big thing. That's one of their classic things for the Iowa State Fair is pork chop on a stick.
There you go.
So
can't hit a pork chop on a stick.
That's right.
So our goal was to create not the other white meat. Pork actually can have this beautiful, dark, almost steak-looking appearance.
Really?
If you have the right breeds and raised the right way. So like Wagyu, we were looking for, breeds that would be something other than, the classic pink pig that you see, the hairless pink pig, or what we call the white market hog in America, which feeds a lot of people. So nothing against that. It's just we're looking for a different segment. So we experimented with some different heritage breeds, Kuni, Duroc, Mangalista, and most recently Iberico. And what we found is some nice characteristics of all of them. And Mangalista being the closest one to what we're looking for, and actually a pig that we're going to continue to keep rearing and selling through our More Meats channels. But they have these dark meat that gets some intermuscular marbling. So Mangalista and Iberico are known to be closer to, what we consider like the Wagyu of pork. They get more of that intermuscular marbling, a much slower growing pig, as opposed to a 6 months for those classic pink pigs from birth to finished weight. These are going to take anywhere from 12 to 18 months typically for us to get to finished weight. And part of that is, again, how we're raising them, out on pasture. They're rooting around. They're getting, ours get waste produce, or, they might be rooting around in the woods getting, walnuts or chestnuts, that kind of thing, that are dropping from the trees. Mm-hmm. It is a slower process, but all that influences the taste that's in the meat, the profile of that, which we've proven with the Wagyu and the studies we've done there with our nutrient density samples. Because of some of the performance chefs and stuff that we work with, we wanted to be able to prove, through diet that we have a much more nutrient dense product. So that's what we're focused on with the pork, and we'll actually have the ability. We're going to be doing some nutrient density sampling of the pork products too in the next few months. We're blessed to get a grant here in Chester County to further our research on nutrient density profiles of this protein too. So not only are you getting better tasting meat with the Wagyu, and I'm going to make an assumption that you're going to get, we know it with the Wagyu that you're getting the more nutrient density. I'm going to make the assumption with the pork that you're going to get more nutrient density as well through the diet, the diverse diet that we're giving them. But we'll be able to have the data on that in the next few months. So better tasting product, better for you. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm. Congrats on the grant, by the way.
Yeah, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So obviously, when you're producing some kind of livestock to make into meat, and then you're going through this whole process of things to do with the other parts of it, the bones, the pig's knuckles, whatever, and this all goes into, you're trying to get everything you can out of the animal, right? So the pig you're talking about has a woolly coat. Is that able to be sold, or is that just trash? You're
speaking specifically of the Mangalitsa.
Yeah,
the Mangalitsa are a Hungarian breed.
Uh-huh.
They do have the classic kind of almost woolly-looking coat.
Yeah.
The thing with pigs is, although it looks like wool, they have hair.
It's got to be stiff as hell.
It is. It's a very almost bristly type of hair. So perhaps there is. I haven't found it yet, but we are big into using all parts of the animal. You guys had Jess from Fairweather Trading on last week. She's one of the original folks that we worked with for trying to find uses for our byproducts.
Mm-hmm.
And, she kind of told you the backstory there, but she buys all the suet from our cows to make all of her face creams, candles, soaps, home good type products. We use the fat from the cows to go into cooking tallow. I most recently took a hide to get tanned from one of the Wagyu out to Keystone Fur in Adams County. Mm-hmm. There's an opportunity for somebody if they wanted to get into something. People that can tan the size of cowhides. There's only one person in Pennsylvania that does it, and I think the next closest is New York, and from there it's Michigan. So,
wow.
And it's a 4 to 5 month wait list for me to get that hide back. So if you're looking for a business opportunity and, you're willing to get your hands dirty, there's some opportunity there. But, we try to save all those bones, like you said, the knuckles, all that stuff, and find a use for it as much as possible. Recently, much to my wife's chagrin, I started dehydrating different organ meat too. We're going to start trying to experiment with making, additional dog treats, kind of stuff like that.
Oh, that's genius. That's a great idea.
Meat. Yeah, exactly. So just trying to find uses for all of it so we're not wasteful. Maybe pay a little homage to the Native Americans that were once the mainstay of Chester County.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Jake, something I found interesting about your business, so a lot of farms sell through traditional retail methods with more meat. Why did you choose a direct-to-consumer model with options such as halves, individual cuts? Any thoughts on that? Any comments on that?
Sure, and I think I talked about it when I came on before, so forgive me if I'm sounding a little bit like a broken record, but to nobody's surprise, Chester County is an expensive place to live, which means an expensive place to farm. And I just worry long-term about, commodity farming. It's, if you look at things right now, most commodity farmers are operating at in the red on a year-to-year basis. And what I wanted to do was listen to the consumers that are out there and understand, hey, what are they looking for and what can we provide them that, they would want in their local area. So that's where we kind of looked at going direct to consumer. That's not for everyone. You have to want to work with your end customer. I get a lot of people that are farmers or, what have you. It could be excavators, right? They don't necessarily always want to deal directly with their end customer, right? They want to go do their work and be left alone. So it does take a little different, personality style or desire to work directly with your customer. But it was important to me, if I wanted to farm here long term, to close that gap, which allows me, people a lot of farmers will complain about the middleman, right? But the middleman is not just one person, right? It's the marketing, it's the distribution, it's all those things. It's a lot of pieces, right? At the end of the day.
And they're critical. You have to have them.
Absolutely. If we do all those pieces, that allows us to, be vertically integrated, so to speak, that we can then make a margin that hopefully can keep bread on our table, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to do the work. You have to be the social media person. You have to be the sales, the marketing, the jingle maker. You have to do it all. Produce everything. You have to do it all. But in that, the yield is okay. Well, we have downtime. We do this and that, and there's enough profit in there to actually make a living. Because God, most farmers have other jobs just to survive.
Absolutely. The W-2 job that the spouse has outside the home, and quite frankly, that's kind of how we operate right now too, right? Thankfully, I have a wife that's, keeping a roof over our head and keeping insurance for us while I'm, building this business. But that's the reality for a lot of American farmers, right, is that outside income is really what has allowed them to stay in business long term. Now, that's not our intent long term with this business, right? But we're in the building and growth stage right now, so it's a little different chapter that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jake, continuing on the operations standpoint, what have you learned about since, I believe, 2020 is when you started, right? Remember correctly?
So we set the LLC in 2021. We started experimenting, trying the beef in 2020, kind of having friends and family try it, getting some feedback, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
So over the course of that 4 or 5 years, are people asking for particular cuts or practices more than what you started? What have you learned about consumer preferences during your 4 years here?
Yeah, that I'm always learning. So, and customer preference changes, especially seasonally. This is the first year we've had prime rib around the holidays, and we sold through it very quickly. So some of that is, really trying to anticipate that desire and get ahead of it, especially with, our butchering process. It takes about 6 weeks from the time we take one of our steers to the butcher till it comes back. Significantly less, about 2 to 3 weeks for a pig to come back, but a lot of that's due to the smoking of the bacon, et cetera. But we have to kind of anticipate some of those needs a little more in advance. So right now we see a lot of those types of cuts, prime rib, more roast this time of year, stew meat. We're seeing hams will move here before the holidays. And then as far as specific cuts, everybody knows filet, New York strip, Delmonico. We have a very hard time keeping filet in stock, but we've also been able to introduce people to some cuts they haven't heard of before, and one of those is Denver steak, which is a West Coast type cut, comes out of the chuck area. I'm almost cautious to even bring it up on air because we already have a hard enough time keeping it in stock, but it's our number 2 selling steak outside of filet, and that's just because everyone knows filet. But Denver is probably, in my opinion, one of the best steaks out of a Wagyu cow. Just perfectly marbled, very tender, really, really unique. So we've been able to introduce people to things like that, some different French cuts or Brazilian cuts that maybe you're not going to find here traditionally in America. So some of it is consumer trends. Some of it's us, talking to our customers, educating them about different things, and having them have an experience with our products.
Well, continuing on the consumer as well as the product front, I wanted to give you an opportunity to promote your business. So if anyone's interested in going to your website and coming in contact with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, a couple different ways. So, our website, Simple More Meats, MOORE, like my last name, meats.com. There's a shop tab in the upper right-hand corner that's going to take you to our online section where you can place pre-orders. They can either be picked up at Kennett Square Farmers Market on Fridays or at our retail store, which is on our farm in West Grove, closer to Jennersville. And we're open Fridays 3 to 6, Saturdays 11 to 5, Sundays 10 to 3. Typically on Sundays, Jess from Fairweather Trading is here as well. She helps us out, and so we carry her products in the store. We also carry some other local farm products, LC Farms out of Oxford. Like I said, Butcher Ben's out of Kennett for cooking tallow. We have honeys, we have eggs, compound butters from the Johnery. So yeah, we're trying to continue to keep offering more and more things from local farms and businesses here at our retail store. But if you come out on Sundays, you can see Jess. You can talk to her about all the things tallow as well. So that's a good opportunity. And then while we're on the topic of promoting, we do have gift boxes for the holiday season. We have a limited number of those. They come in a beautiful black box with a logo on it. You get a $165 of value worth of meat for $150. Several steaks, some various items in there. You can check that out right on our website. We've actually had a few orders just come in while I'm sitting here online with you guys. So it is, if you're thinking about doing something, buying local for the holidays, don't hesitate. And I will say, if you can, continue to support local after the holidays. I know for a lot of small business, whether it's agriculture or otherwise, January, February are really tough months. So, if the opportunity is there for you to support local in the new year, it's much appreciated by all small local businesses.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Barry hits home on his show as well, just the importance of supporting local. It's your friends and your neighbors. So
absolutely,
we appreciate that. And Jake, thank you for coming on today. Great to have you on. Hope you have a great holiday.
Thank you, guys. You too. Good luck with the appliances. Don't call me. I will not be of any help. I have my own appliance headaches.
Well, we have caller ID now here, so we'll make sure to write that down.
That's right.
I'll give you a call.
Take me off the list.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Thank you.
See you.